This is my Read 180 screencast. So Read 180 is a tool teachers can use that incorporates blended learning to help struggling readers become better and more successful readers. The components of Read 180 include 5 individualized learning zones, the reading zone, the word zone, the spelling zone, and the success zone that are all individualized and differentiated for each kid. Read 180 is set up for elementary to high school students and is Common Core aligned. Read 180 has a personalized learning path for each student, and the learning zones are also individualized. Read 180 also includes differentiated instruction skills to help students build reading and writing fluency. Read 180 has a data-driven small group instruction component that provides immediate detailed feedback to help guide the small group instruction. It also collects data on individual student responses and adapts questions and instruction based on those student responses. And it provides questions and responses based on the text to aid and show comprehension. There is a direct instruction and small and whole groups part to Read 180. The small group piece includes 3 rotations with a distinct reading purpose for each, and it involves the teacher facilitated reading and discussions. And the whole group part emphasizes reading skills and strategies, academic vocabulary, writing skills, and grammar. And that is taught as more of a whole class setting. It also has an independent reading piece that includes a large selection of nonfiction books that students can access in different formats. So they can have leveled paperbacks, ebooks, and there are also audio versions of the books. The independent reading piece tracks student progress, so as they read tougher books and understand the books better, keeps track of that, and it highlights problem areas for students. So my first activity is independent reading. In my future classroom, and a little bit in placements, but less so, I want to make use of the classroom in school libraries. And then there's a tool called Storyline Online that has various famous people reading picture books that I would utilize for younger grades so they could listen to the story rather than, or follow along with the story rather than reading it solely on their own. I'd like to have an audiobook collection. Amazon's Audible might be an option here too. And I would like to allow students to, at least to some extent, to be able to choose their own books for independent reading. I would help make suggestions for them and keep running records to make sure that the book is at the right level for them and that they're using some of the reading strategies we have practiced in class. And then I would, of course, also help teach and practice those reading strategies and strategies to help students know if the book is right for them, if it's at the right level, and if they can understand it well enough to read it. My second activity is based on the individualized instruction piece of Read 180. I would make use of ScoopPad here and have students take the placement test for English and then use those results to create their learning paths so that they could continue to practice the skills they need more work on ScoopPad. So I tested out my activities on a friend of mine. The first one was difficult to test out in a classroom, especially that's not mine and that I don't have extended periods of time to be in. But I did a running record on one of my second graders to help me figure out where she was with her reading level, and we discussed some strategies for finding a good book at this level. And then in my own classroom, I would also suggest some possible books for the student to read that are around her level and that she would enjoy. And then my second activity, I had my friend take the ELI placement test on ScoopAD to help me determine her reading level. And then I would like to create a ScoopAD learning path for her so that she could use it to improve and refine the reading skills that she still struggles with. And I would like to do this in my own classroom too, at least a little bit. So my first activity was with my second graders, and I just did a running record of this passage on the left. And the running record helped me know that she likes to sound out words that she doesn't know and doesn't really use context clues, but she won't move on to the next word until she figures out what the word she doesn't know is. She needs to practice using expression in her reading. So it was just, the whole thing was just kind of monotone. There were a couple exclamation points in there that she didn't make use of. But her pace was pretty consistent and her comprehension was definitely there. For my second activity, she took the reading test on ScoopAD just to see kind of what level she was at. I set it for the second grade level. The placement test told me that she was at or above the second grade level and that she learns from her mistakes. There was a question about long vowels and she didn't answer it right the first time, but then a similar question reappeared later and she got it right. It also told me that she might need more practice with vowel sounds, long and short, and the difference between dictionaries and glossaries and what they do. And ScoopAD versus Read 180. So the two are very similar. They both provide extra help for learners. ScoopAD also has math, which can be nice. Read 180 incorporates classroom learning more and is meant to be used for instruction and practice, but ScoopAD focuses more on practicing the known skills and less on learning the new ones. ScoopAD is K-8 Common Core and Read 180 is K-12. Read 180 seems to have more components to it and more pieces to it, so there's more that it can do to help teach students and to improve their reading skills. And ScoopAD has each are customizable learning paths, while Read 180 creates the learning path for the students based on their data.